Gi-hun was a desperate man, broke, abandoned, and drowning in debt. With his sick mother on the verge of death, he saw no way out. That's when someone introduced him to the death game, a brutal contest where 500 participants fought to survive. A merciless robot executed anyone who made a mistake. Gi-hun, driven by survival, betrayed an old cancer patient to stay alive. In the end, he won. But at what cost? Wealth flooded his hands, yet guilt consumed him. He was the only survivor. 499 others had died. Unable to touch the blood-stained money, he lived in regret. Then, one day, a shocking revelation shattered his world. The same old man he had betrayed was alive, because he had created the game. It was all for his twisted amusement. Furious, Gi-hun vowed to end it. Meanwhile, police officer Jun-ho, searching for his missing brother, uncovered the game's secrets. Disguised as a guard, he gathered damning evidence but was caught by the game's mastermind, his own brother, the front man. Betrayal struck deep as the front man shot Jun-ho, leaving him for dead. The story of the next season starts from this point. Before you dive into the next season's madness, tell me, what would you do in Gi-hun's place? Take the money and run, or risk everything for revenge? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Gi-hun is at the subway station, heading to meet his daughter when he spots a familiar face, the same man who once gave him a Squid Game card. Realizing they are recruiting for a new game, he rushes to stop him, but the man disappears. Another man, Jun-ho, takes the card from the person who received it and immediately calls the number, threatening to end the game. The person on the other end warns him to stay away and focus on his daughter, making Jun-ho realize they are tracking him. He rushes to a washroom, finds a tracker behind his ear, and removes it with a cutter. Meanwhile, Jun-ho, who was presumed dead after being thrown into the ocean last season, is revealed to be alive. A fisherman rescued him, and after weeks in the hospital, he regains consciousness. Gi-hun, now tracker-free, goes into hiding for 2 months to avoid being found by the Squid Game organizers. At the same time, Jun-ho, now a traffic police officer, continues searching for his brother while trying to expose and stop the game. However, when he presents evidence to his seniors, they dismiss him, believing his claims are false. One night, Gi-hun has a nightmare where the frontman visits him with 2 severed heads, which suddenly open their eyes. He wakes up in fear, only to be disturbed by a knock on the door. A gangster he owed money to last season has now become his ally, working to track down Squid Game recruiters. Gi-hun assigns him and his team to monitor subway stations, promising 1 billion yen for capturing the recruiter. The gangster, enticed by the reward, motivates his men with a share of the prize. Jun-ho, still determined to locate the Squid Game island, collaborates with the fisherman who saved him. Despite searching nearby islands, they fail to find the exact location. Meanwhile, the gangster trains his team to identify the recruiter, a man in a suit carrying a briefcase full of money who plays Squid Game with people before handing out cards. After much effort, 2 of the gangster's men finally spot the recruiter at a subway station, playing the game with 2 individuals. They immediately alert their boss and Jun-ho while secretly tailing him. Later, the recruiter buys bread and lucky draw tickets, offering both to beggars. Almost everyone picks the lucky draw, but no one wins. He then places the bread on the ground and walks over it, declaring that he hasn't wasted food. They have. This psychological tactic reveals who among them is greedy enough to be lured into the game. Gi-hun's men track him here and update his location. Gi-hun speeds toward the scene but runs a red light, catching the attention of Jun-ho at the traffic police station. Jun-ho notices his odd behavior, unapologetic, eager to leave quickly. Suspicious, he runs Gi-hun's car number and recalls him from the previous Squid Game investigation. He retrieves Gi-hun's address for further inquiry. Meanwhile, the gangster's men decide to capture the recruiter themselves to claim the reward. However, they underestimate him and fall victim to his deadly tactics. When Gi-hun arrives, he finds blood on the road, realizing his men were killed. Worse, the recruiter is now aware that Gi-hun is after him. Returning to his base, Gi-hun discovers his remaining men imprisoned. The recruiter forces them into a twisted children's game, rock, paper, scissors, with fatal stakes. The loser is shot dead. One of Gi-hun's men loses, and the recruiter executes him. The other, terrified, gives up Junho's address before being released. That night, Junho arrives home, unaware the recruiter is already inside, waiting. Rather than killing Junho outright, the recruiter, obsessed with death games, challenges him. He recounts how he once worked as a corpse collector for the Squid Game, but found it dull. He requested a more exciting role, leading the frontman to assign him a horrific task, killing his own father. Without hesitation, he obeyed and was rewarded with the power to kill anyone. Gi-hun ignores the recruiter's backstory and demands the frontman's location. Laughing, the recruiter proposes a deadly game, Russian roulette. 1 bullet, 5 empty chambers. They take turns pulling the trigger. If Gi-hun wins, he gets the frontman's address. Fearless after surviving Squid Game, Gi-hun plays along. On his 4th turn, the recruiter takes his own turn and loses, accidentally shooting himself. Gi-hun retrieves the address from the recruiter's pocket. Before he can act, Junho, now convinced Gi-hun is dangerous, storms in, having heard the gunshot. He misinterprets the scene and prepares to arrest Gi-hun, believing him to be a killer. Just then, the surviving member of Gi-hun's team, who escaped from the recruiter's den, arrives. He intervenes, revealing the truth about the death game and how the recruiter slaughtered their comrades. With new evidence, Junho listens as Gi-hun recounts everything about the Squid Game, detailing its brutal nature and mass killings. Gi-hun insists he is not the villain. He only wants to end the deadly game once and for all. Junho and his team tracked Gi-hun's tracker to an island, only to find no sign of the game facility. They found the tracker abandoned near a fisherman who claimed he got it as free bait. Meanwhile, in the game, Gi-hun realized his tracker had been removed before the game started, meaning he was trapped with no way to escape or call for help. Determined to save others, he warned them to follow his instructions or face death. The game began, and as Gi-hun guided the players, some doubted him. A girl laughed at a fly under her ear, got detected, and was shot dead. Panic spread, causing many to run and get killed. Gi-hun calmed the survivors, forming a line to minimize movement. However, a rapper took drugs, lost control, and pushed others, leading to more deaths. As the doll turned, players rushed toward the finish line. A wounded player begged for help, and Gi-hun and Kat supported him across, but a sniper, No Yule, shot him in the head. The guards grew angry as headshots ruined their organ trade. Junho, searching for Gi-hun, realized the game facility wasn't on any nearby island and planned to retreat due to an approaching storm. Back at the game, the guards announced that only 365 out of 500 players remained. A vote was held. If they left, the prize money would be split, but debts exceeded their share. Many chose to stay. Gi-hun urged them to leave, but a player dismissed his fear of death. The vote tied, leaving player 1 to decide. He shockingly ended the game. However, it was revealed he was Inho, the front man, secretly playing as a participant. Later, workers examined the dead, marking some coffins with crosses to harvest organs. They realized someone, No Yule, had been shooting players in the head, destroying usable organs. They informed the front man. Meanwhile, Gi-hun, tormented by the game's brutality, was approached by Inho. He told Gi-hun to help save lives while winning. Gi-hun recalled the past Dokji game, where the umbrella shape was hardest. Inho mocked those who picked it, reminding Gi-hun of his mistake. Someone questioned why Gi-hun returned despite his wealth. He replied that the money belonged to the dead. Elsewhere, a YouTuber, Jang, faced backlash for losing investments in digital currency. Rapper Thomas, a victim, attacked him. Gi-hun intervened. Later, Thomas apologized, explaining his wife had liver cancer, and he needed the prize money for her transplant. Gi-hun empathized and agreed to stay. Meanwhile, the new frontman warned No Yule not to destroy organs, threatening to sell hers. No Yule's past was revealed. She lost her daughter in a war and was still searching. Junho, seeking evidence, contacted a commissioner, but without proof, he was dismissed as unstable. He then reunited his team to locate the Squid Game facility. Before things spiral even further, let me ask you, who do you think will outplay the game this time? Will Gi-hun find redemption, or will Junho expose the truth? Drop your theories in the comments. The next game began. Teams of 5 had their feet tied and had to complete challenges in a circle. One team failed, was executed, and their bodies removed. Kat's team advanced through dokji and stone-hitting games. Meanwhile, No Yul executed a surviving player, angering the front man, setting the stage for the next deadly round. In-ho could sense the tension from their conversation. Jang, overwhelmed with emotions, asked Gi-hun, "You had plenty of money, so why did you join this game?" Gi-hun didn't answer directly, but instead asked, "If I die in this game, what will you do with the money?" Jang, saddened by the thought, responded, "Don't talk like this. We'll go out together." Gi-hun sighed, "I want that too, but I'm losing, and no one understands me." Meanwhile, Jun-ho continued his search for Gi-hun. The next day, the players were ordered to get ready for a new game. The guards prepared as well. The players were taken to a massive hall with a rotating stage. As the stage moved, each player was assigned a number and had to form a team with that many members within 30 seconds. Those left without a team, or those in incorrectly numbered groups, would be executed. Chaos erupted as players strategized. Gi-hun's team and Kat's team managed to form a group of 10 and lock themselves in a room just before time ran out. The remaining players were shot on the spot. Gi-hun was devastated by the brutality of it all. Tantric, a mysterious woman in their group, smirked, "You're all alive because of me." No one paid her any attention. The next round began. The stage rotated, assigning them a team size of 4. Gi-hun's team left In-ho behind, while Kat's team abandoned Tantric. Once again, those who failed to form a team were executed. When they exited, Tantric glared at them. Gi-hun's team, however, was more worried about In-ho, who reassured them, "I make friends easily. I'm still here." The next number was 3. Gi-hun desperately wanted to be with her son, Park, but 2 players dragged him into another team. Heartbroken, she stood frozen until Gi-hun and In-ho pulled her into a room. She sobbed, realizing her son didn't care whether she lived or died. Gi-hun and In-ho tried to comfort her, but their own hearts ached. Park, too, regretted leaving his mother behind. Eventually, they reunited, and Kat and Maddie also embraced Gi-hun. Their team gained a new member, a man who had saved Kat earlier. The next round assigned them 6 members. Kat and Maddie's team grabbed Danny from Gi-hun's group and rushed into a room. In the chaos, Maddie was left outside. Jang quickly shut the door, leaving her to be executed. Kat was devastated. Maddie had been her first friend in the game. She turned on Jang angrily, but he defended himself, saying, "If I hadn't closed the door, you'd all be dead. I saved your lives." Despite their grief, they had no choice but to accept the reality. Now came the round with teams of 2. In-ho predicted the number, calculating the remaining players and rooms. As expected, they were assigned 2-member teams. In-ho and Jang entered a room, but another man followed them. Knowing the guards would kill them for being over the limit, In-ho strangled the man to death. Jang was horrified. He realized just how ruthless In-ho could be. As the game ended, the guards collected bodies. Those with viable organs were harvested, while the rest were burned. Meanwhile, Jun-ho used drones to scan the islands. He spotted a small entrance and sent his team to investigate. However, the moment they opened the door, a massive explosion killed several of them. Jun-ho was shocked. The game organizers had set traps to eliminate intruders. Back in the game, players discussed their next moves. Tantric, still bitter about being left out, cursed Kat's team. "You'll all die like Maddie," she sneered. Gi-hun dismissed her words, but unease lingered. Jang approached Danny with an offer. "Let's vote to end the game, take the money, and invest it. We'll have a good life." Furious, Danny snapped, "You're still only thinking about money. I'll raise my child on my own." She stormed off. Meanwhile, Gi-hun and In-ho counted the players who wanted to quit. More people wanted to leave than stay. Gi-hun suggested persuading others to vote against the game, but In-ho warned, "That'll cause fights." This is exactly what they want. The voting began. There were now 100 players. If everyone voted to quit, they'd each receive 365 million yen. But as the votes were counted, the numbers were tied. a girl had voted to continue under Tantric's influence. The deciding vote belonged to In-ho. Jang, fearing In-ho's ruthlessness, was about to warn Gi-hun. Before he could, In-ho voted to continue, keeping the game alive. With no conclusion, voting was postponed until morning. Those who wanted to quit sat in despair. Park joked, "If we vote to quit, I'll throw a meal party." His words angered another group. "If you all die, we get more money," an older man sneered. This sparked a brawl. Gi-hun noticed the guards had given them forks with their meal. If a fight broke out, they could be used as weapons. In the restroom, the rapper threatened a man for voting to quit. Jang intervened, but the rapper attacked him. In desperation, Jang stabbed the rapper in the neck with a fork, killing him. The guards, watching from outside, allowed the violence to escalate. It was announced that due to the deaths, the prize money had increased. Meanwhile, Jun-ho's boat was compromised. A supposed ally turned out to be a game operative, sabotaging them. When confronted, he killed one of Jun-ho's men and made excuses, but Jun-ho began suspecting the truth. A flashback revealed that In-ho, the front man, had planted this spy to keep Jun-ho at bay. Back in the game, Gi-hun realized the organizers would kill more people overnight to influence the vote. Meanwhile, corrupt guards smuggled harvested organs out through secret waterways. A new, sinister game was about to begin, the murder game. Gi-hun's team prepared for an ambush. "We need to kill the guards and take their guns," Gi-hun proposed. In-ho hesitated. "That's too risky." But Gi-hun was firm. "They don't expect us to fight back. We have an advantage." As night fell, Gi-hun's team hid under beds, knowing chaos would soon erupt. When the pro-game players attacked, guards intervened, checking for survivors. Gi-hun's team used this chance to grab the guards' guns. More guards rushed in, trying to regain control. In-ho, secretly the frontman, shot a guard to maintain his cover. The new frontman summoned his guards. They began to leave the room, but just as one was about to exit, the doors slammed shut. He surrendered, but what would happen next? And just like that, the game takes a deadly turn. With betrayal lurking in the shadows and survival hanging by a thread, who will make it out alive? Drop your predictions in the comments. And if you're bent on this confusion, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.